So apologies to Wasky Squirrel for taking his title of pens in use to pens not in use. I haven't been at my drawing desk here for a long time and I miss it. I sit on the couch all day and I draw on my iPad. And I think I need to get back here on my desk and draw on my desk with my correct posture, I think would be helpful. So I do have a job I have to do today. That is the calligraphic job, and to write a poem. And I don't like writing poems. This is about as short a poem as can be. It's not quite a limerick, but it maybe is the size of 3 limericks, so it's not that bad. But I'm always afraid I'm going to screw up on the last word, and that's hours of my time. Well, it takes me a long time to do this. So anyway, what I thought I would do is I have a lot of pens here on my desk where I have them in these trays, these inventory filing cabinet trays. And there's sometimes 2 racks of them. And they slide out and I select the pen I want, which you cannot see because this is too. I'll slide this out, pick the pen I want, slide it back in, and there are 12. Can I make this thing bend up without breaking it? There we are. Those are full of pens. Most of them, well, not most, half of them, not quite half, almost half of them. No, half of them are Frankenpen dip pen nibs, which I keep on my desk because I don't use them anywhere else. And the other half are fountain pens, which some I use here and some of them I just happen to be here because I use them a lot, but I don't need as many as I have. And I also have a lot of desk pens without the stands. And these, sometime in the future, maybe the future is today, I might just have all of my pens that might. How did this happen? What the hell? Do you see that? How on earth did that happen? God damn it. I must have slammed it into the back or something, or maybe could it have fallen on the floor when I wasn't looking? Well, that'll be a repair. See if I can fix that. See if any other ones are broken in that way. I acquired the pen shop 40 years ago, I guess. I don't know exactly, something like that. Anyway, I'm thinking that in the future, all of the pens at my desk can be dip pen nibs, nibs that are fitted in pens like this, where I would use them only at my desk, probably only when I'm dipping them, rather than filling them with ink, but just dipping them just so I have that experience. And that might be the plan. But it's going to be a lot of work to find the right nibs, so I have a full component of nibs at this table. Anyway, my plan was, pens not in use, is to go through some of these drawers and remove pens that I don't really use here at the desk. I might have them here for a little bit, and then I put them in my pocket, and then I bring them back here, and they end up staying here, and they don't need to stay here. For example, this one. This one is, this doesn't need to be here. Or does it? This is a chip out of the section. So it's a pen that I might not be able to sell very easily. What kind of nib does it have in it? Well, let's find out here. Am I going to use, let me find, here's 80-year-old ink, Carter Blue ink. Okay, well, this is a nice semi-flexible nib that would be good for a lot of things, but this doesn't need to be on my desk. That's a balance with a dot. Should I keep this here? I've got probably 20 other pens on my desk that do exactly this thing. Or should I put this in my collection with the other green marbled pens, or should I sell it? There's a little chip out of the section for some reason. It's a very weird place to have a chip. I don't understand how that happened, but pens that have issues like this, sometimes I keep them on my desk just because, I don't know. Well, most of them don't, but I've been collecting, like this pen here, another Sheaffer white dot pen with a big flexible nib. I've been collecting pens for 40 years, so finding pens that are flexible, or keeping, when I find a Sheaffer nib that's flexible, I keep it often. Here's another one this is very fine and flexible. So I'll keep this one here. I think I can retire the green one I just had. This one I can put back. Or sell, maybe, I don't know. Or should I just keep it here? What should I do? Here's a Waterman pen that, again, only a mother could love. It's very worn, has a missing clip with a accommodation clip on it, has a gold fill trim and a silver nickel thing there. I remember showing this pen for someone that might want to buy it, and it really had a neat nib on it, and I thought, well, I'm going to keep that one just because I really love the way the nib works. But I have lots of pens that have nibs that are probably almost identical to this. So far, I'm not taking any of them out of my pens not in use drawer. This one is really, really flexible. Waterman number 6, I think. So I keep this one here. The pens that I really understand and know how they're going to write, I tend to want to keep here. This one I think I can retire. Has another flexible Schaefer nib. You don't have the time nor contingency. Oh, this still has ink in it. How did that happen? I'm going to retire this one. This one has a really nice name on the side. William H. Lubin. Okay. Can I retire this one? I think I can retire this one too. I mean, when I say retire, I might, bring this out drawing with me when I go drawing. I think this is clogged. I'll fix that. So I've taken 2 pens out of my pens not in use drawer. I should try to find a cap for this one. See, this is a perfectly good pen to keep here because it doesn't have a cap. I can't put this in my pocket. So that can stay there. This nib is a Waterman. No, it isn't. It's the Carter inks. I'm curious about that pen in the tray that has a continuous nib that goes with the section. This tray? I don't know which pen you're talking about. The only nib I know that has the pen that has a nib that goes into the section is a T1 or a Triumph nib. Triumph nib pens, Schaefer. The wood one on the top. Oh, this is a bamboo pen, reed pen. So it has a slit. It's a pen that you can draw with. Bamboo. Okay, 2 pens I've taken out. Let's keep it going here up here. Let's keep it moving. Do I need this pen here? Why is this one here? It's pretty fine. But it's a little loose here, so it bothers me. So I'm going to retire that one. It can go in my drawer. This one is another fine one. Come on. Is it so fine it can't make a line? What's going on here? Well, this I'll keep here because this one is a different kind of fine than the one I just took out, so this will stay. I've got two of these. This one, the cap doesn't screw on. This one, the cap does screw on, but I'm gonna take this one out. This one I'll leave here. The threads are all completely worn down. And again, it's a pen that I can't take in my pocket because the cap will fall off. This one will stay. This one will go in the drawer with the other ones. God, this is clogged too. I need to learn to wash out my pens. I have a number of pens like this that are supposed to have a screw cap, but the screw caps are really hard to find, and I discovered that this Waterman cap works fine on them. So I've decided to, again, keep these here. Why is this full of ink? There's another one of these. Well, a number 12 Waterman is easier to come by than a eyedrop Phil Parker. So, and I think it will write every bit as good, or if not better. So, Waterman is my suggestion. Oh, this is a really nice pen. I use this a lot. So keep that here. I think I can retire this one too. The cap doesn't really want to stay on this one either. I wonder if this is broken. There's a big gap right there, which it's not supposed to have. I have a feeling this is broken. What do I do with this one? I'll see if I can fix it. Okay, what about this? Missing a lever. So I fill this one by squeezing it like that because I don't have a lever for it. Well, the military clip works. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It works fine. I use it a lot. So, look, I got rid of... I need to get one more out of here because I'll just take my word for it. I need to get have one more come out. This is a Waterman accountant nib. Take that one out. Okay, so now I'll keep this one here. This is a prickly Waterman. It's really neat. Oh, it's very fine. Can I put this into a different pen? I don't know what this is, but I have a nice fine nib in it. Doesn't have a cap. It's just this weird bullet-shaped thing. Yeah, really a neat nib. I think I'll keep this here just for now because I want to see if I can put it in a different pen. Waterman without a cap. Come on, Pierre. Make a line. Yeah, I can retire this one. Good. So look at this. I retired a number of pens. This I just use here as a dip pen. It has a system I can't fix, and it's missing a clip. But it's really a neat little nib on this one, and it's one of these Dorics. It just makes me smile, even though it's missing a clip and it doesn't work. It works really well just by dipping it. Okay. Anything else I can take out of here? I added this one. Well, the retired pens go in my collection. I've got a collection of pens in the other room that I use, but I don't. I mean, they're part of the collection. So, I have one of every color of this, and you like Skylines? Clemente Santos. I've always loved Skylines. Always have, and many people don't like them, but I love them. So the retired pens will go in a drawer with my collection, and the collection, what happens there is I can see that I've got 10 pens of a particular model, and then I'll see that I've got maybe 3 that are exactly like this size and this color, and then I'll say, okay, I can sell 2 of them then. So I can't do that up here. If I retire pens up here, I don't know if I have a duplicate elsewhere. So that's kind of why I do it, to retire them in that way. Is this Lee Snyder? It is Lee Snyder. This one has a very flexible nib too. No, Schaefer flexible nibs. Okay, what we're going to do, you're going to follow me and see if I can fix this nib. God, how did this happen? Trying to take it out here. First thing I have to do is use my little nib pliers to bend the nib back so it isn't doing this. And then I'll burnish it to see if I can fix the rest of it. But it's really tight in here, so it may need some soaking first to be able to get it out. No, it's coming. So let's go to the other room, see if I can fix this. Follow me. Follow me. Walk carefully over here. A cat. God, I almost stepped on the cat. Tina. Oh, shit. My house is impossible. Okay, set this in here. Tina, I can't eat the food for you. You have to do that all by yourself. Cat. Field trip, yes. Okay, soaked it in water. This is a Chilton desk pen, so it has a pneumatic filler. So it's a relatively rare pen with a very rare bent nib. Which makes me unhappy. Okay, so broken, bent. It's not just bent like this, it's bent like that. The little hook. I have drawers upon drawers of barrels and other parts. I do, in fact, have those things. Okay, ouch! Ow! This little point went right in there. So I have my burnisher. It's part 2. Part 1 is bending it. I have my block. So first, let's see if we can do it here. What part should I try to fix first? See? That's better. I went from there to there. Now we go from here to there. I'm looking at the pen now from the underside, and the points go like that. That's the harder part to fix. This is the easier part. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but the point, yes, you can see it. The point is now doing that. Should I say it's one of these very rare factory oblique nibs that were made for lefties or something? Should I just say that? Or should I try to fix it? Try to fix it, Pierre. Try to fix it. Okay, this is going to be hard. What you have to do, you have to take these little tiny pliers and use just the very tip to try to go to the very tip of this thing and try to bend it back without taking the iridium off. And good luck with that, Per Gustafsson. I think it's getting a little better. Sometimes I do it like this and try to twist it, but I try to not do that. See if I can do it this way first. Well, does it write okay? It's a stiff nib, or relatively stiff. So, I mean, it's working. Do I need to try to fix it more? What do you say, Clemente Santos the Fifth? Should I try to make it look pretty, or am I going to break it? This pen would, if I don't slam it into the drawer again, this pen should last for another 50 years without it, and it's working. But do I want to make it look pretty? Clemente, you tell me. I'm just putting this nib in here because this was a. God, that's funny. Give it a little more. You think it will work? If it breaks, I'll wear a black armband today and pens that have iridium missing or are damaged like this, there can be a way of making them somewhat usable. You can have them retipped. You can turn them into a stub and just write on the gold. It still is a little bit bent. A little more, Clemente Santos the Fifth. Are you planning on making babies and having a Clemente Santos the Sixth on your family tree? Maybe you already have one. Come on, Pierre. I want to do this, but I don't want to, but I'm going to do it anyway. Try to. Not even doing it, I'm just whispering. Come on, nib. Well, a Waterman number 2 nib is only the size of the nib. It really, it's just the size of the gold thing. It doesn't mean anything about the line that it makes or anything. It's just the size of the gold. How old are you, Clemente the Fifth? Okay, come on up here. Okay, I think this is as good as it's going to get. Let me see how if it's scratchy, if I fucked it up. No, it's okay. Still good. Has a little bit of flex. Seems to be smooth, even though it's bent. So I call that a save. I call that 80% of a save. Well, you know, the junior is, then you become the senior. Do you want to be a senior? You know, the junior isn't, this might be, I may have this wrong, but in the United States, the Roman numeral is part of your birth name. I mean, that's on the birth certificate. Whereas junior and senior are not part of your name. And when you die and you have Clemente Santos Jr., he will no longer have the junior name. The only time you keep it is if both the father and the son are famous, like John F. Kennedy Jr. and John F. Kennedy, the dead guy. They're both dead. But if you're talking about John F. Kennedy's womanizing and philandering, you could be speaking of both of them, maybe. And so you keep the name going, but it's not an official part of your name, whereas the Roman numeral is an official part of your name, I think. See, here's one of those pens without a lever. I should put this on my desk, take the other one back. This nib is supposed to go way back into this pen. I didn't completely set it, but I can do that now that it's as good as I can get it. Yeah, a friend of mine whose name was Charles Ix the Third, Charlesixii. I love, and his name was, he's from Germany, and Ellis Island turned Ichs into Ix. But Charles the Ninth, the Third. He worked at a bank, and one of his bank people came up to him and said, "Is your name really Charles the Fourth?" Thinking that IX was four, not instead of IV. Charles Ixiv. If he has a son and he names him Charles, it'll be Charles IIIIV. No, IXIV. Charles Ix the Fourth. Ixiv. So, how old are you, Clemente Santos the Fifth? Have you been looking for a wife for a long time? And where are you from in this big world? Manila. Oh, okay. You have many fountain pens in your collection? Have I asked you this? If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to remember whether I talk to people or not. Got a lot of these pens. This pen has matching chips out of it. There's a chip out of the cap, a chip out of the section. Yeah, fate sometimes makes these decisions for us. How old are you? If I can ask that, that's something I can ask. Diamond Point. Should put a nice warranted nib in this one. It's a nice solid pen. 25 next month. Oh, you've got all sorts of time to find a dame. Dames are trouble, though. Just telling you. No, that's not entirely true. Some dames are trouble. I'm going to put a Waterman feed in this thing, just because it looks like a Waterman feed might fit. I like Waterman feeds. So let's put a, do I want to put a warranted nib or a Waterman nib in this one? Warranted nib would be this much more correct. Let's find a warranted nib then. This is really loose. That's this feed. Let's see if I can find a feed that's a little tighter. I was having the opposite problem the other day. All of the feeds I was putting in were too tight. Let's leave this one in. Maybe if I just find have a slightly larger, stiffer nib, it might work. No, I think I need to find a different feed. This is not liking it. So I'll put this back where it came from. Leave it be. This is a 100-year nib with a crack in the back. The nib is in the section. It has a crack going like that. But it still has a lot of years left in that nib. This is a really nice nib on this one. Is this Waterman? Emblem pen? What does this say? Waterman emblem. Really nice and wet. This part of the sack. This would be a good pen to have on my desk because it's a nice, smooth pen to draw with. But this is also would be, do I have a cap that can go on this? Finding caps that are this size are not easy. I have caps that are chipped and missing bits. But I'll be right back. You're in charge, Clemente. Tina, I can't help you. I'm not able to help you, kitty. Okay, either one of these caps fit. This has a little chip right there. This is a number 6 size. This is a number 6 size. I want a number 5. Oh, speedball. Okay, cool. Would you like to join me on my camera? I'll be here and you'll be here and we can talk without typing. You'd like to do that? Think about it. Tina. Well, here's, okay, I'll invite you. So you click on this and you join me that way. You have to turn off your YouTube and broadcast via Safari or something though, so you don't get echoes. But talking is easier than typing anyway. So I don't have a cap for this one. So I may just put this on my desktop or maybe find a different pen that this nib could fit into. This is a nice one to draw with. So I've taken out like 10 pens from my desk and I'm going to add one. Here's another number 5 size. I had a number 5 nib here. Where did I put it? I know I don't have a cap for this because I just was looking for one. Oh, here's a cap that would fit it. Except this is, clearly broken. Okay. Where did my this the Waterman nib? It's maybe Todd nib. That's what I was looking for. This one right here. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So this one and this one can go on my desk. I don't have caps. They can fit in the drawers. I can draw with them. Everyone will be happy. Hey, Scraff, how goes the battle? Or should I not ask? Well, I'm glad you're not fighting. Do I want to put that Waterman nib in here? Would that be fun for shits and giggles? Then I'd be able to carry it out with me and draw. And this is a pencil on one side and a pen on the other. Seems like it might hold the Waterman nib. And this could, let's try that out. I do have so many pens. I have many pens. Okay, see this nib, this feed rather, was initially held a steel nib, which is fatter than a thicker in depth. So consequently, this is what I put. Usually I would put something like this in my dip pen nibs in these pens, because there's room for the pen to sort of fit. But I don't want to. Come on, Bear. I don't want to put just any nib in here. See if I can heat this. It would be nice if I could use this pen, because even though I've got Watermans that this thing can fit into, well, that silver one is really lovely. That is a favorite of mine. And, I might end up putting a different nib in it than the one that I have in it. Okay, why aren't you? come on, light candle. God bless. Ouch. I might put a different nib in it, maybe a little bit broader, a little more wet. The pen looks like it sort of means business, and you know, it wants to be feisty and loud, wants to get into a bar fight. You know, it has some battle scars already, and I think the nib that's on it is a little tiny bit too delicate for that pen. Let's see if this works. But that is a favorite. I like it for all of those reasons I just mentioned. Okay, this fits. I mean, it's staying close to the feed, so it won't skip, but it is a little loose. It jiggles a bit, so that's not good. You know, I'm going to end up using this as a dip pen holder. I mean, I could put here's a steel nib, and this will be tight. Well, not in this one, but it would be tighter. Let's just shove it in more. You know, this is too loose. I keep all this in my head. Oh, I was showing those the other day. You missed it. Didn't I? Weren't you here? Maybe you were the one that asked me to do it. And this is a very firm. No, it still jiggles. Now this needs to have a steel nib in it, I guess. Oh well. Put this back here. I do have a lot of flexible nibs. They're on my desk right now rather than here. So I don't know if I did it yesterday. I mean, but you should be able to see it on my stream. I mean, on my channel. They're all saved, I think, automatically. Someone named Brandon asked me about flexible nibs. I don't know what it is, but it was only the last. I'll find out this time. We're going to go in the other room now, where you can see the flexible nibs. I'll show them to you again. I do have some fountain pens with flexible nibs, but most of the flexible nibs are the Franken pens I make using 19th century dip nibs. Come on, go in there. Fuck. How did that happen? Okay, plug this in. Well, that the one that was from a couple of days ago? Because I do a lot of them on Franken pens. So, okay, these two, I'm going to go right here. This one, now that it's not broken, is going to go back where it was before, and hopefully it won't get broken. You saw that video, the one from a couple days ago, Scraff? Is that the one you mean? It was either Saturday Pen Play or Pen Play, I think. Oh, okay, let me just see if it's here. No, it wasn't that one. Was it this one? No, wasn't that one. Saturday night, maybe? Oh, no, that I was talking with Marilyn that night. My channel. Pen Play, mail call, Saturday night. Okay, I don't want, where are the rest of them? Videos. Sunday night, Sunday. Pen Talk. Seems to me that it might have been this one. No, I don't know which one it was. New pen. Hello, I'm now live. Well, I got this pen in the mail yesterday. Yeah. Pen Play. Did I already look at this one? That's nice. Okay, it's called Pen Play. 2 days ago. So these are really flexible nibbed pens. Oh, this is just so. Those are some of the samples of the Franken pens. There's another Franken pen right here. Scraff, what's your first name? Robert. So all of these pens are 19th century dip pen nibs. But the flexible ones I was using the other day were from up here. That's pretty frickin' fat. Well, I don't think they were just made to do that way. I don't think they were softened later in life. They were just built to be able to do that kind of writing. But they're all so different. Ah, Clementi's here. Add to stream.
Hey,
Hello,
uh,
Clementi.
hello. Good morning from the Philippines. I'm sorry. Good evening. It's already like
I
close to
missed
nine.
I missed everything you just said.
That's okay. That's okay.
What did you say?
Oh yeah, it's almost like 9 in the evening here.
Oh, okay.
I think
Well,
it's
you
8 a.m. there.
yeah, you live in the future. What's it like?
Um, the existential pain of working tomorrow. It's there.
Did Putin blow up the world yet? I guess
Not.
not. I guess I've got 8 more hours to live, at least. Um, so what I forgot what we talked about earlier today. What kind of pens do you like? You like
Oh yeah.
Skylines and Dorics, right?
Oh
Is that
yeah. I do love them. It's like one of my. It's like on one of my bucket list for a collection. But I only have like two vintages here, and both of them I won on raffles and giveaways. So
oh good.
yeah.
I I've always liked Skylines, and as you heard in my video for Apple Boom, I guess that I like them because they're so interchangeable and there's so many different styles and colors, and it's just sort of fun to be able to swap parts out really easily.
Mhm.
Um, and they're nice, strong, rubbery, flexible nibs. So I know that when I provide one to a someone who's going to draw with them, I know that they're not going to break them, or I hope that they won't break them. So
Uh, the Dorics, do they also have like the adjustable nib? Like there's like
the
a notch.
adjustable nib thing is more of a gimmick than anything else. The Dorix had that, and it really um, they work, but it's just more shit that you have to clean or that can clog or that can break.
That's what I
So
guess too, because it's like a notch that it's like there's a stopper. So from the pictures that I
yeah,
saw, it looks like
it
it's gonna
it
break
has a
sometime soon. If you want to like flex it a lot.
yeah it's
Much more sturdier is like the usual flex nib that you would get.
it's not at all sturdier than that. It's just if you bought a regular flexible Eversharp pen, Skyline pen, or Wall pen, and you just used it intelligently, you don't have to press down if you don't want to. What it does, it just keeps you from pressing down too far, and it'll stop the flex. But again, if you are a sensitive person, you'll know to stop. But if you're a clodhopper, you'd break a flexible nib anyway. But um, it's they're sort of a neat gimmick. But the pen it needs all sorts of things to make it work. You need to have a special feed, and then you need to have then the nib itself has the slit here for the ink, and then it has two group openings here
Yeah.
for the slider to go up, back and forth on it. And underneath that, the nib on the top side has the slider on top, and on the bottom side it has these little crimped things. I can't even remember if it has a bar underneath or not, but it's
Oh
just
yeah,
a
it's
it,
like
yeah,
it's crimped there like what you're doing with the pliers like on a wire.
yeah, it's crimped to hold it in place. So I just can't remember if there was a piece of metal underneath that too. I probably have I think I have a adjustable nib here,
Oh yeah, just to make it slide like if it's
just
like
to
the
make it
cross section
slide
of
up
the
and down, and it has these little uh, notches
that would
on
make
it
you
as
scale
well that
up
will
like just flexibility or like the hardness that you would want.
that'll make it stop at certain points, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen, in my humble opinion. So
And because it
uh,
really is a problem if it's broken. Like if it's broken, there's nothing anyone can do.
the very first pen, shit, the very first pen I bought from the company I now own was an adjustable Eversharp nib that was inside of that didn't have the adjuster on it. And what it was, I'll draw a picture of it here. It had the slit here, it had the sliders here, but there was no slider, and it had two little cuts right there in the nib on either side of this thing. So this, by removing those little bits of gold, it was really, really flexible. And I ended up writing on an old ledger like this, and I hit a snag or a bump where one of the lines were printed, and it cracked it right there. And I tried to get it fixed, and it never worked. But the adjusters are it's sort of a gimmick, I think.
An over-engineered gimmick.
Yeah. And then they had on Dorix as well, they had the shut-off valve. Okay, now let's make it really stupid. So that was it was a side view of the nib. You know, the feed is here, the nib is here, the section is there, and it had a little underneath the feed. It had a little piece of metal that came up,
Mm-hmm.
and when you screwed the inner cap down, this thing would go down, push down, and somehow lock. I don't remember how it worked because it doesn't sound like it would work at all, but it sort of plugged the ink that was in the barrel from coming up.
Oh,
But
so it would stop like the air ink interchange. It's gonna be like the
something,
barrier
it would
between the
stop
air
something, and
and
of
the ink.
course it
Yeah.
didn't work, and it had a spring on it, spring and a metal. I mean, this thing, all you need is three parts. You need a feed, a nib, and a section. And this had, the nib was made up of at least two parts, if not three. And then this thing had at least two parts, if not three.
Mhm.
So it was just a disaster.
And it's the engineering too. Even a repairman would find a very hard time to fix that. I think nowadays we got around through it. So instead from the section, we got the shut up valve from the barrel itself. I think it's done on the most eyedroppers that we have. The cheapest one is from a Taiwanese company called Opus 88. So they have these very big eyedropper pens, and then shut up valve is controlled at the blind cap section,
Okay.
so that yeah, if you have problems if you're traveling, and then there will be like a change in altitude, or
Air
there's like
pressure.
an
Yeah.
atmosphere, yeah, and a change in air pressure, then it wouldn't skip off and just like push ram the ink out of the section the feed and the nib.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it is difficult flying with pens. I usually try to empty all the pens I have before going, but sometimes, I mean, the air pressure on airplanes is better than it used to be, so it's not as big a problem as it once was. Um,
I think I haven't. Yeah, I haven't brought a pen on the plane. But I would empty them first before like getting into
yeah,
business.
I mean, if you try to use a pen on an airplane, you might as well just take a bottle of ink and pour it on your head before you before you get on the plane, because it will screw up.
It will just,
Um,
it will explode and it
it
will
will
burp in all
the
parts.
air in the sac, and maybe the ink, probably not the ink, but the air in the sac anyway, is at a different pressure, so it'll push the ink out. But um, I sometimes pens can work. If you have a pen on board with you, just take the cap off and hold it in your hand and like this until you get to cruising altitude, and then you can work with it. Because
That would be
the
very laborious. Crap, where's my phone?
what was that?
Sorry, someone's calling on my phone.
Oh,
I just
oh,
put it on silent. I'm sorry.
okay.
Yeah, that's okay. It's already settled now. Told them I would be busy.
Well, anyway, um, it's a fun hobby to be in, especially if you write with the damn things. People that just collect them, I honestly don't understand them. Um, I mean, I collecting stamps, you get to look at the pretty pictures. I guess you get to look at the pretty plastics, but not writing with them is just it's 9/10 of the fun, I think. So
Yeah, it is, and for me, it's a very big comfort too. Here I've been like writing a lot. Even I do my journals. So formerly I do it with ball pens. Especially like one of these. It's very
uh-huh,
cheap,
yeah,
and then it would really work, in a bank form and a carbon paper where you need it. It works good. But when I start to write, and with journals, I tend to write like 3 pages long. Sorry, 3 leaves long. So it's like back to back. So three
yeah,
7 leaves long. It really is just a pain in the hand, especially in this part. And then here I'm going that grip.
yeah.
So the
It's
fountain pen is very helpful.
I the only time, I mean, I use ballpoint pens from time to time when I'm at a bank or filling out a triplicate form or something like that. But I have learned, try to hold your ballpoint pen the same way you uh, hold your fountain pen. And if you hold it, okay, so here's a ballpoint pen. If normally, I'm pressing down hard and the ball just wants to slide out from underneath me, it's
Yeah.
not going in the way I want it to go. And I hold it tighter, and then within a few minutes, my hand hurts. But if you hold it as if this were a fountain pen, a very flexible fountain pen, and you want to write very lightly, uh, then you can. Sorry, you actually can control it relatively well, but you have to be very light with it. You can't press down. When you press down, then
Yeah,
it's like a
it would
caster.
go. Yeah, it would go place. It would go places.
I once gave a talk about uh, cursive handwriting and how people don't teach it anymore. And I one of my punchlines in one of my funny stories was, I asked the men in the room. There were half men, half women, and I asked the men in the room. I held up a caster from a office chair, just a caster, and I said to the men, I said, "Men, how easy would it be for you to walk down the street with one of these taped to the end of your wangy? Now, everyone giggled, and I went behind the curtain. I had a divider screen on stage with me. I went behind the curtain and I got out to cut the tape with my teeth and got a big piece of duct tape and, you know, was putting it on the end of my wangy. And I walked out, and a wangy is a kind of bamboo that they use to make canes and umbrella handles with. So a cane that's made of that kind of bamboo is called a wangy. So the caster is down here at the end of my wangy, and I'm trying to walk with this cane, and I put any weight on it and it just slides out. So that's what writing with one of these is like.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, it would go like out of control. You're still trying to control it, but sometimes it would still get out of control. Like the
Yeah.
more you try to control it, the more it would
No,
go wild.
the more you press down, the more it wants to go. So
Yeah.
when you use your pen, even though you can't do carbon copies with it, but hold it as if this had the most flexible, fragile fountain pen nib on it, and you can actually get some beautiful. It's still hard to control, but you can do beautiful, work,
Yeah.
thick and thin lines with it. Now, if I tried to do this, it's really hard because it doesn't.
Hmm.
It's like sailing a sailboat without a keel. It just wants to go sideways and backwards and everything. So, um,
Well, actually, let me show you like what fate brought me into store. Let's see, what's the first one that I have? This is the first one that I won.
oh, great! A Waterman
Let me just put it down.
52 or a 55?
This one is a 52, I guess. Oh
Okay,
yeah, it's a 52. At the bottom, let's see. Yeah, it's a 52. I think this is a wood grain, right?
no, that's a Ripple.
Oh, that's a ripple. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, Ripples look. Oh, let me just hold it up to the camera better on the side. Let me just see the
Yeah.
side of it. Oh, it's halfway. It's halfway between a wood grain and a Ripple. It seems kind of ripply, but
Oh
it's
yeah, it
it's
is. Yeah, let me show you
a
the
Ripple.
barrel.
Yeah, see, the barrel looks ripply. That looks ripply there. Now, what about the cap? Does the cap have
Let's see.
a? Yeah, no, that's a Ripple.
Oh, it's a ripple.
Yeah, wood grain looks more like. See, here's a Ripple um, desk pen, and a
Hmm.
wood grain or modeled wood grain looks more like wood. I mean, it's less wavy,
Hmm.
so that's the difference.
Oh yeah, I'm loving this. Like the just the flexibility on this. It's really good. It would really give you like a lot of personality. Let me try. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, I haven't had like the time to change the sack. I already removed it because the bar, like the end of the bar, sometimes cuts through the sack.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's that shouldn't happen. Sometimes it does if if you're able to take that thing out, which I'm not suggesting you do, and if you're able to get the pressure bar out, you
mhm.
could take a little file and make the ends of it not
Oh,
sharp,
like round. Oh yeah, a little bit
rounded. Yeah,
rounded.
just
Yeah,
make it a little bit rounded.
buff
But
out the edges.
yeah, but it shouldn't do that. I mean, uh, the only time that I see that happening um, is if someone took a pliers and just made one shorter. I do that all the time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if I have a pressure bar that goes in a long pen and I have to fix a shorter pen, and I don't have the short one, I'll, cut off the the side, an end of it, and I have to file it down. So maybe yours had been uh, changed in that way somehow.
Yeah, and it really writes like a dream.
Oh wow, you have a calligraphic line. You're not afraid to press down.
Yeah, I was trying, but I feel like on the nib, like I know the feeling that, oh, I think I'm pushing too hard, so let's stop that immediately and then rethink and then
Well, it
try it
seems to me
again.
you're not, you know, you're doing pretty well with that range that you've got. You know Wasky Squirrel, right?
I guess so.
You watch his videos?
I think once or
Pens in
twice I
use.
did. Yeah,
Huh?
I think once or twice I did.
Okay. He visited me in uh, when was it? Last summer.
Mhm.
And when I was in Minnesota, he drove out from South Dakota, North Dakota, one of those Dakotas, and met me and spent a couple of days, and we talked about pens. And he has a very heavy hand, but he you give him a flexible nibbed pen, and he doesn't. He stays in second gear. He
Mhm.
he never stays in first gear where it's really light, and he never goes into third gear where he's pressing down hard. He sort of has this medium heavy hand, and writing, being able to press down and use the flexibility is one part of it, but also not pressing down at all, almost lifting up uh, as uh, as lightly as you can will give you the fine line that you want.
Mhm.
So it's tough.
Yeah, it really is that like the feeling like once you put like the tip of the nib, you would know like yeah, ink will flow in there. That should be like the barest minimum that I'll be able
Yeah, if you just
to be
have the
able to.
weight of the pen make a line that's about as thin as you can get, but you can actually get thinner than that if you want. Um, the
Yeah, it's very
the
it's very challenging.
it's very
I'm trying like.
challenging. What a friend of mine, two professional calligraphers that are very very good. With one of them, they they each do the same thing. They have a trick. One does it one way, one does it a different way. But the
Mhm.
trick is to one guy, he folds newspapers into maybe four sheets of newspaper where they're not pressed down really tight. There's just a little sort of pillow
Mhm.
of paper underneath the thing he's writing on. So he gets there's the pressure of the folded paper is pushing up away from the table. So he can lift up the pen, but the paper is still making contact by that little tiny bit of pressure.
Mhm.
And that's where he gets a fine line. The other guy takes a piece of paper, and he said, let's say this is the piece he's working on, and he'll run this over the corner of a table like this, you
Uh-huh.
know. And what he does, what he causes the paper to do is to be slightly curled. I'm just doing it this way. This is not how he would did it, but if there's a slight arc to the paper like this, it's pushing up against you. And when you're using a very very fine nibbed, very very light touch, you know the paper is pushing up on you. I'm actually I'm yeah I'm it's the paper that's making this line pushing up, not me
Yeah, because
pushing down on the
it's
paper.
pushing up and then it would make like draw the ink like from the nib. Oh yeah, it's very thin. Actually,
Yeah,
that's
it
yeah,
does make
that's
a
a good one.
line, and so try that out with your pen and just see, just just drag the pen across the page. Don't apply any pressure, just pull it across the page and it should make a line. And the line should be finer than if you're drawing the pen across. If you have the weight of the pen make a line,
Mhm.
that's almost as fine as you can get, but you might be able to make it finer by sort of lifting up. And that's not easy to do. It
Yeah,
takes
I'm just trying like very short streaks, and then my hand is like floating, right? Just getting like the weight of the pen, and then just trying some lines. I'm pretty certain that I'm still able to make it thinner than it usually is, because if I'm just like normal, I'm just doing normal writing. That's that's my finest. But if I lift it up a bit, it even gets finer. Like
yeah,
I think there's gonna be like almost a third. If I
yeah,
lift up the if I lift up the paper and then do just that, I think I should be able to. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I
I mean,
think
that
I
paper
should be
might
able
be too
to.
thin for the trick that he was doing. He was using, I think,
I,
more cardstocky paper.
I'll
But
try that. Yeah, I think this is 64 GSM. Yeah,
yeah, Hello also went.
this
Um,
one I got from our like national fountain pen group as a prize. Like
oh, good.
there are two Watermans there from the same donor. And the first one
Okay,
is a 12, and then this is the second one. So
52.
yeah,
Yeah.
the 52. There were a lot of prizes. It's like part of like a community pantry. So it's going to be a community pantry. So the pun intended. And
Okay.
then there were a lot of prizes there, a lot of modern Japanese, even like a 15. Oh, sorry, like a $6,000 stationery box, which is pure leather, like a prototype from one of the
Oh
members of
dear.
Fountain Pen Network Philippines.
Uh-huh.
Even a Mont Blanc came out as a prize too. Very, very generous
Oh, well, great.
collective of the members. So luckily, I was able to win this
Was it
beauty.
just a raffle, or did you have to
Yeah,
write
it's
a
just a
essay?
raffle. Yeah,
Essay.
the entry
Why I
only
love
is that
pens.
the entry is that like with a fountain pen and like with the paper that you would want, write your favorite quote. So I use something Churchill said, like the farther you go backwards, the further you see forward.
Okay.
So as an entry, so no cash
Oh,
involved.
nice.
Then the raffle ran for like 4 hours to 6 hours, I guess. There were really a lot of entries and a lot of prizes to win too. This one is the one that I got.
Well, lucky you.
Yep, and good thing as well, no brassing. As far as I can observe,
No,
there's
it
no
looks
there's no
beautiful.
brassing. Yeah.
I I uh I I I used to have more ripples now than I at one point than I do now. I had two Waterman 58 ripples. So like the second biggest pen that Waterman made, but I
A
ended
size
up
8 nib? Oh, that's big.
number 8 nib. Yeah.
Oh, that's big.
I have a 58 that isn't a ripple. Let me get it for you. Just a minute.
Oh, sure.
Okay, let me show you. You know what a 52 looks like if you have it in your
Oh, yeah.
hand, but you don't. So here's a 52
That's a beaut.
with a missing clip, but that's a 52. And here's a 58.
Oh, that's big. Wow. Yeah, putting that side to side makes this look. The word is dingy.
Yeah, but
The-
yeah, and I haven't used the 58 in a long time. Let's just
But
see
that's
what it.
yeah, that's very big. My hand is comfortable with this, but with
Yeah,
that,
I
yeah,
I
it's
I
very.
don't I don't use this pen at all, but I had a Waterman 20 essentially. It was a Waterman 19 actually. It's a very rare pen that I sold to my friend Otto. It's larger than this. It's the largest pen that Waterman made, um, and they're quite sought after. But I just they're too big for me to use.
Oh yeah, because yes, sometimes if it's like the barrel is in the section is too wide, sometimes you're gonna have like a feeling that yeah, it's too heavy for you, even though you already have it in your hand, and then feels
Yeah,
good, but with this dimension compared to like your normal workhorses, you would feel intimidated. Sometimes
yeah.
sometimes I have that feeling as well. I have like a big pen from Noodlers, like their music nib pen,
Is that
the
like this?
Nippon set.
Like this one?
Oh yeah, I have that, but in the acrylic.
Yeah.
Some people are also envious of that. I'm not sure. This is, I think, is a John Mung. That's
Okay.
yeah, that's the color. It's an acrylic. Music nib. It intimidates me a little bit, but yeah, it should work fine because it started really as a broad,
Uh-huh.
and then depending on your orientation or on the pressure, you can really make it drool a lot. See, I'm using
Uh-huh.
Waterman Mysterious Blue, which is, I'm not sure if why do they call it that? Should be Mysterious Steel, because after 3 days this will turn green. I have that kind of formulation. I think this is the old one, the
Uh-huh.
old bottle that I have. So 3 days later it would turn out green. So this is like the bottle that I have. I still have a lot. I don't use it very often, but on this, it's very really uses up a lot of ink. This one I use for letters. I have like a group that uh, does pen paling, so writing letters, put stamps, wait for a few
Okay.
weeks.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's still alive. And then oh yeah, right up to the second pen that I want. Actually, I'm recycling paper. So this one is my former papers that I used when I was using a typewriter. I think I
Okay.
still have the typewriter here, so I'm just
Oh,
using the
neat.
back side of it.
Don't you find the typewriter impressions cause the nib to go
Oh, like
bumpy?
yeah, like really bumpy. Not much. It's
Uh-huh.
very manageable.
Have you,
I
if you write Tom Hanks a letter with a typewriter, he'll send you one back.
Oh yeah, actually his collection is very diverse. One of the one of his most recommended ones, the Hermes 3000. That's one
Yeah.
of my part of my collection. Actually, for typewriters, I'm not really big on that, but I only have like three, and they come from separate periods. One is
Uh-huh.
the Hermes 3000. The other one is an IBM Selectric
Okay.
from the 1980s, like the first one, like the boxy one, and then the last one is an Olympia SM3, just because of its durability. I think Woody Allen uses that, and then it's just like a powerhouse.
Uh-huh.
If you're really like if you're a marathon user, if you're a marathon typer, that really is for you. If you don't plan to
I
take it
have
outside, that's good.
maybe 50 typewriters.
Wow.
And one of my favorites is the Hermes, not Hermes, is the Hammond Selectric. And they were like Hammy's multiplex, they're called. They're like a
Hmm.
Selectric. They have uh, cylinder-like thing that fits in, and you can change the typefaces and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
like the old Vari-Typer, the cylindrical one.
yeah,
Not because electric patent like the golf ball, right? Which is very very ingenious.
yeah, no, it's
But
not
yeah,
the
the
golf
older
ball.
ones is
It's
like the cylinder.
cylinder. It goes back and forth like this. And but the one I have that I like the most, I think, I've got a couple, but is one for mathematicians. And when you're using one of the, it has two typefaces on. All of them have two typefaces, and this one has a regular standard type on one side, and it has a slightly smaller type on the other side.
Mhm.
But one of the sides has mathematical symbols. So there's Greek letters, there's fractions, there's square root, and
Oh,
each key has five things on it: upper and lowercase, symbols, and numbers or something. I don't know. It's just it's
so
wacky.
so not only that you're gonna have like a tab button on the uppercase, you're gonna have like two tab buttons too. On top
Well,
of
actually,
that,
no.
just to make sure that
It's.
you
I'm
have that.
sorry. The Hammond has
I'll be
it.
search that.
It normally has. Let me just see if I can find it. Just don't go away. You
For
search,
sure.
and I'll see if I can find mine. I think I. I think I see it, but it's way underneath.
Uh huh.
But I did find this one. I don't even know what's in this one. Ooh, it's a. This is very thin.
Oh yeah, an ultra portable
It's a. It's a
aristocrat.
Hermes baby,
Oh, Hermes baby.
featherweight.
Oh, yeah, that's an ultra portable. Oh, the sound that makes, especially Hermes ultra portables, they're tacky in some kind of way that it's really office like. Like a traveling salesman or like a traveling paralegal. That kind of vibe. It's really really light.
Now, let me see if I can find the Hermes. The typewriter I have. I've got. I've got maybe five Hammonds, and uh, the one that looks the coolest has wooden keys.
Oh wow, wood, and then like put shellac on it and like some kind of varnish, and then yeah, it would really last a
Well, I'll
long
show
time.
you. Um, Well, it's not that one.
Uh
I'll just bring it to you. I'll show you.
huh. Sure, take your time.
This easier. That one I know where. Okay, so here's the Hammond.
Oh
So
yeah.
but the keyboard.
Oh, that's very intuitive. You know, something like a two-hand keyboard nowadays.
Well, it's like if your pinky was 3 times longer than it is, you could use it.
like like if you're like a piano player, like you can do something like that.
Yeah,
Put
but
it
it has each
put
each
something
key. Each key has 3 uh, things on it. So you have capital and figure.
oh.
So there's one fewer rows of type. There's only 3 rows. There's no number and figure row. But the mathematic one I have also has 2 other things for doing denominators and numerators. It's just for the numbers.
Mhm.
And so anyway, they're fun.
They are. And, like a novelty item like that, it really has its purpose. Oh, that's the guide too.
Yeah, this came with a different Hermes. I mean, this is what
Mhm.
I mean, a different one. So this is the keyboard for the standard selectric. I mean, multiplex.
Yeah.
This one is weirder. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Oh, okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
I think Clemente Santos V. I think I need to get my ass in gear here and do
Okay.
some work.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh, quickly before that,
yeah,
I'll just show you like my second pen. This is the one. Yeah, this is the second one. I think this is a 1951 Admiral Touchdown.
oh nice,
Yeah, this is a touchdown. But
with a feather
condition
touch
is,
nib.
yeah, with a feather touch. Condition is not so good because the cap band is brass to
Yeah,
some
that's
point.
okay. Doesn't
Yeah, it's a
bother
little
me.
bit brass. This one is a number 5 feather touch. I've already like removed this one. The only fault besides this is that the feed that sticks out in the section is has come off. So I
Okay,
received it like something is like jiggling inside.
I
So
see.
I'm pretty certain that I was hearing like metal. I thought it was this, like the hood, but it should be like part of the feed should be protruding here.
Yeah, it's not important. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
yes,
I guess like the ink would still flow through there, so
yeah.
it should be good. And oh,
I'll
uh,
put
yeah,
a sack
yeah,
on it
yeah.
and put that thing back in. And um,
Yeah,
yeah, well,
I should be
when
able
you
to.
get to be as old as that pen, you're going to have some brassing on it on you too. I'm just
Oh
letting you
yeah,
know. You're gonna there's gonna be lots of brassing.
I think the nib is too tight on this one because I still need to like flex it out a
They're
bit.
pretty tight. Schaefer's generally are tight, so but you're getting exactly the sort of uh, uh, flexibility that I would expect out of a Feather Touch. They're
But
really beautiful
yeah,
nibs.
oh yeah, they are. Like when you flex just a bit, like it would really drool. Like
Yeah, yeah.
if you try
I
to like
have
put
on the
something.
on the military clip one. This one has a Feather Touch nib. Oh no, this is a Lifetime nib. Oh well, I'm lying to you. It feels like a Feather Touch.
Like feather touch, but then you're gonna have to sometimes like flex a bit just to make sure that your line is gonna be there. And then the one that really got me into fountain pens is this. This is like the first. This is gonna be like the first love.
Oh yeah,
It's a
cool.
C2. And this is like my oldest copy. I got this one when I was in 6th grade, still alive.
Okay.
This one got me through.
Oh good. Well, um, okay, Clemente, it was really nice talking with you, and I will chat with you later.
All right, sure,
Hopefully.
not a problem.
Okay. Be good. Bye bye.
Bye bye.